Well guys, if you guys watched the last video, you knew I bought this ice shack and we're gonna get right into the upgrades. So right now is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lightly sand these rough edges here for the screw holes, and then I noticed also some screws are sticking above, they're not drilled in all the way. So we're gonna make sure all the screws are drilled in, and then we're gonna paint all this trim in here white. I'm gonna paint all this trim white, all these boards. I'm not gonna paint here because I'm putting the insulation there, the foam insulation, so you won't even see it and it'll stick better to the wood. So I'm just gonna paint all the trim on the inside and outside white. Actually, I'm gonna prime it right now. So I'm gonna sand the rough edges, and then I'll probably even vacuum in here, and then we'll start painting all this trim white, or priming it white. That'll be our first step, and then after that, I think we're gonna install the carpet on the seats, because this here is 3 feet and like half an inch high, and my styrofoam insulation is 2 feet high. So if I go 2 feet high, and then I'm gonna need another piece of insulation so I can share it with the other side. I'll cut it in half and I'll do a foot here, and I would rather butt up against here, and then I'll have the ½ inch gap down here, and you won't see it because the carpet will be right in that gap. I thought that would be the best way, instead of having a ½ inch gap up here, because I'm not gonna fill a little ½ inch. I might with foam, but that starts looking ugly in my opinion. So I thought I'd hide the gap down there. So I thought I might as well just put on the carpet seats before I even install the foam sides. We'll see. Actually, maybe I'll do this part first and then do the foam. I gotta do the carpet too, because I'm gonna put foam here, and then by putting the carpet around here, I'll be able to staple it up underneath before I put the foam, and that foam will also lock the carpet in place. So I think doing my carpet seats is gonna be one of the first things I do in here. Well, let's get at it and we'll start prepping this to be painted. Well, I got the shack all prepped to paint all this trim. It's all taped. Got the door off and it's taped as well. I'll put it on a stand when I paint the trim on it. Well, I got the coat of primer done on the trim outside here, and I took the door off. So there's the door. Trim of the door is done. So I think that looks good. Now I'm gonna paint it. And then I did all the primer in here on all the 2x2s. The plywood doesn't need primer because I'm gonna put insulation there, so it'll actually stick better. When I glue it on, it'll stick better just to the plywood without paint. And then I painted over here, or primered, so because you're gonna have to slide that window open, so there won't be insulation in this area. So I made sure to put primer there. Got the cup holders done. Looks nice. So now I'm gonna paint all the trim here, and then she'll be ready so I can stain the outside gray, just like the color of our house. I'm gonna stain this outside. Well, I got the trim all painted, a coat of paint on it. I'm just gonna I did 1 coat of primer, 1 coat of paint, and I'm gonna call it good. Took all the tape off. I think it looks really good. Kind of wish I would have painted the door all white, but I never had a roller here. That's why I would have started with painting the whole outside first, but I didn't have my rollers here. They're at the house in town, so I didn't feel like going because it's so wet outside and my truck's clean, so I didn't want to get it all dirty. But yeah, I got all this trim painted now. So it's the next day here, and I've got this carpet underlay that I'm going to put on top of the seats. So I'm going to install that right now. Pretty straightforward. Slap her on there, cut her a shape, staple her down, done. Okay, we got the underlay on both sides done. I just cut it right at the top of the face, so it's not a perfect cut, but it's going to be carpet's going over top of it, so you'll never know. And the carpet's getting wrapped around here underneath, so this will kind of just protect that corner. I think it'll be perfect. It's already huge difference sitting down on these benches. It's night and day. So this will add a bit of insulation and comfort. Like it's already way more comfortable. Oh, it's really nice. So now we're gonna carpet it. I'm gonna go with the carpet from the barn. Got a roll. I think it's gonna work. A low profile carpet, Berber carpet. I'm gonna go get it. Well, now I'm on to carpeting the seats here. Now the main trick here is you want this to be nice and tight. Like this is still quite loose. I've only got the corner down here just so I could have cut everything and lined everything up. So let's try and pull this tight somehow. I'm gonna have to trim off that side yet. So yeah, just make sure you get it nice and tight, and that's gonna give it a much better fit. But do you know what? This is an ice shack, so if I don't get it perfect, I'm gonna have to trim off some more here too. I just kind of cut the piece of carpet in half, so I have another piece to do over here. And so I'm gonna have to trim up the front a bit as well. But yeah, as long as it's on here, it's better than nothing. It's just an ice shack. Doesn't need to be perfect. Like this carpet's not perfect. You can there's some deep wrinkle lines in it from being rolled up so long. So I don't know. We'll do the best we can. It's just an ice shack. Well, I got this bench carpeted. Came out pretty good, pretty decent. This side's better. And this side was the end what I ended off in, and kind of screwed up the cut there. So it's going to be blocked with insulation. Insulation is going to cover this area, so you won't see that. And then this carpet was rolled up so small and for so long that you can kind of tell where it was rolled, and I couldn't really get those humps out. But other than that area, there's not really many humps in it. It's pretty good. So it'll be good. And if that underlayment wasn't on there, I could have got it right tight to the wood, but since there was padding on there, it made it a bit more difficult. But I'm glad the pad's under there because it's way softer. But now I know a few things that I'm going to change when I do this side. I'll do this side even better. So I'm going to get working on this side now. Well, I got the other side, the bench done. So you can see that one's kind of a more wavy. I think that's going to go away though a bit once that kind of lays out there. This side's a lot better. I was standing on this side, bending over, stapling it. The air stapler put 3/4 inch staple into it, so she shouldn't go anywhere. So this side I did a lot better, as expected. You know, do the second one better, but this one was a lot more wrinkly though than that one, so that one was harder. And then I threw this rubber mat in here just because I'm going to be painting out there and it's going to be in the way anyways, kind of. So I threw it in here just to see how it fit, and I think it's going to be awesome. I'm just going to have to cut off like an inch, not even, like hardly, about an inch there. I don't even know if I'm going to cut it. Well, I have to do some cutting here for it to bend up the wall there nice. So cut off an inch or so, and it's going to be golden. I'm going to leave it like this, get her nice and tight to the floor, and then glue this down here and be waterproof. And to help this stay down, I'm going to have tension rods going from one side to the other side. Like picture like a shower rod, something like that. And it's going to be holding blocks of wood up so this all stays nice and tight while the glue is setting. Should work good. So then now we're going to paint the outside, or stain I should say. Well guys, we got it painted. Sorry it's not that wide of an angle with this camera, it's the iPhone. But yeah, I got it all painted. Didn't videotape much of it because I just went hard at it and it was late. I was doing it till 4 in the morning. I did 2 coats back to back. Got it all done. This is actually stain. I think it turned out pretty good. Looks good. And I did all around underneath. I did up underneath there. And it's all got 2 coats. And then I did in here. Did the inside of the door. Gray. The white's paint, the gray stain, and then I stained just up to there because when this is up against the wall, it'll cover the rest. So I stained the area that the rubber flooring won't cover. Stained that gray. So I thought it looked good. I could have done it white. White would have looked better, but being out in the shack and you get your boots there and everyone's hand, that white will get marked up real fast. So I did the gray. I think the gray will hide the dirt better. It's the only thing about all this white trim. I know it's going to get dirty, but it's what I had. I had white, so I used white. Instead of having, because I thought just all gray wouldn't look as good. Need some trim to pop that trim, eh? On the ice shack. And then now is what we're going to do. I got all the solar panels ordered. I got a 50-watt solar kit coming. And 4 LED light bars for inside. They're 13-inch light bars for interior. And they're only 3 watts a piece, I believe. So I think that'll work good. They won't use much power. But yeah, right now, I'm going to take off these mounting for the hitch. I'm going to take them off and we're going to paint them black. And then I got this angle iron right here. It's already got holes in it. Found it in my scrap there. And I'm going to cut it so it fits like this. That's the way it'll protect this edge when you're towing the ice shack, because it's not that high off the ground. These are only 4x4 skids. So if you hit a stomp or whatever, some hard ice, it'll protect this edge. And also when I'm moving it with the tractor with the forks, butting up against here, you're going to tear that wood up. Then this will protect that when I'm moving the ice shack around with the tractor. So I think that's a good idea. But this piece ain't quite long enough to do from skid to skid in all 4 corners, but it's going to be fairly close. So I'm going to just cut it in half and cut it in half again and work with what I got. I'll put it farthest to the outside here, because that's where the forks will hit. That's the most I'm concerned about. So paint that all black. I'm going to get that all cut up and ready to paint. And then I'm going to paint the hitch too. So I'm just going to clean up this garage a bit here, this shop. And we're going to get this stuff painted. Well, I got my coat of paint on here. And cut all those things. They're 15 inches long each, so that piece is exactly 5 feet, so that'll work out okay. I'll measure that there. And I didn't need to really paint the inside of these things, just the outside. But they'll have 1 coat, and then the outside I'll do 2 coats on. This is just the first coat. This ain't fast drying paint. I wish I would have used fast drying. I just used stuff I had here already. And then I noticed that I had fast dry here, and this can's basically full. I wish I would have used this, but I didn't see that. I knew I had a whole bunch of these cans, and so I was kind of looking for this can. So see, I have a whole bunch of them back here. So that's why I grabbed it. It's like, oh, this is the right one. I wish I would have used that. Well, while I was waiting for that paint to dry, well, it's going to take a while, I decided to do some insulating here. I had 2 of these sheets. They're 4x8 sheets, but one had like, I don't know, about a foot cut off on an angle. So I kind of wish I would have used the other one here, but this is kind of a good thing I used the angle one here. Like, it wasn't quite wide enough for this ice shack. On this bottom corner, you can see I was cut on an angle and it went up like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of plywood here, and that's where I'll mount my solar stuff. So it'll hide that. See, I was just cutting this to fit. I got 1 more sheet of this, and I'm going to do this side. And then I'm going to buy insulation for here.